Welcome back, everybody, to Conference 1 Valorant. We got a spicy matchup today as we head into the second day of our Tuesday-Thursday groups 3 and 4. My name is Possible. Alongside me is Josh. Today, we got some good matches. Well, one good match, I should say. Some good maps, hopefully, to be paired with it, Josh.
Yeah, I hope so. A lot of the play this week so far has been pretty good. There's been a lot of aggression. One of the things that I want to see today is a little bit more aggression from the offensive teams, because we've seen a lot of aggression from defenses so far this week. And so we got two really closely matched teams. They've both got two high tier players going for them in Penn State and in Limestone. So it's going to be a good matchup between these two squads tonight.
It's a very important match for both our teams here, as both Penn State and Limestone on the first day did unfortunately fall. They were defeated. They are currently sitting at 0-1. So considering that they're only going to get to play 3 matches, they need to place in the top 2 of this group out of 4 to move on to that bracket play in about a week and a half's time. They need to win here and now or pray for a miracle weird 3-way tiebreaker situation if they want to actually end up making that bracket. So today is ever so important for these two.
Well, if my marriage is a testament to anything, miracles can happen. Somebody can fall in love with you. Okay. You can win matches. No, I don't know where you thought I was going with that. Don't worry.
We're going the right way. I like that strain of jokes.
We're keeping it PG. But this is where you see some of the best matchups across esports, is when you see two teams there in must-win situations where you have to win, you have to go ahead, and you see some of the best plays come out of some of these players. Sometimes people fall apart and they're not there for the moment, but a lot of the times you see players step up, the moment's not too big for them, and they really show out, and that's what some of these players need to do for both of these teams tonight. I think we have two really well-balanced teams. They match up together really well, and I think we're going to see some of those moments where one of these teams is going to have to step up and make sure that they push forward a little bit more so they can stay alive in this tournament.
Sure, and we didn't get to see either of these teams in their losses on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, but we can do a little bit of theory crafting here, Josh, while we have some time and we're getting the players all in the lobby, getting everything set up. We are going to be heading to Split first, right? And for everyone out there watching at home, the pick and ban way it works, if this is your first time tuning into Conference 1, you flip a coin at the beginning. We don't have seeding in these groups. And the winner gets to ban a map. From there, the next team gets to pick a map, and then that first map pick, the winner of the coin flip gets to choose their side. And then for map 2, everything swaps up, right? So Limestone won the coin flip, and as such, they banned Haven. They didn't have a very good time on Haven earlier this week, so that makes perfect sense. But then Penn State, the Nittany Lions, with the bold pick, immediately sending us to Split and giving Limestone the chance to choose that defender side, which they did. This is bold, Josh. This is ever so bold.
It is. It's crazy to me. I thought for sure that they would immediately go to Bind. Really, honestly, I thought Penn State was going to go there first. I think it bodes well for them. They've had some success so far with it, and they've had success in the past with Bind. So Split's a weird pick for me, especially because it can be so... I think sometimes people are aggressive enough on it and they sit back and they're a little bit too hesitant. They play a little bit too passively. And so Split, if you're aggressive enough, can be a really good map to push on as an attacker. But it's definitely a defender's map, and so it's weird for them to pick that as their first map when I really thought that Bind was going to be the one that they would want tonight.
Well, especially considering, what this looks like. Right, is that Penn State have a secret pocket pick of Split. And they're willing to take people there, and they don't care if they give the defense side over first thing to the enemy team. But this is collegiate. Anything can happen. This can be a situation where Penn State may be feeling a little bit too bold. We're going to head into the agent select here, and this is where it all starts for both these teams.
You know what? I'm really happy. I mean, before we lock in, I'm really happy to see that we're already seeing people hover over breach. So that's a good thing for me. Yes. We haven't seen enough breach play, and I know people are. We talked about it before we started the broadcast. People are still trying to adjust to this patch, and they haven't quite realized how good breach is yet. But breach got massive buffs. I think he's a must. I don't know that there's a single map or a single matchup where he's not a must-have, because he's so powerful with his flash. He is the guy that they need on their team. Rain is probably something we're going to see, but it's going to be important for these players to pick the right people right now.
I do see that Raze being hovered. I believe we saw one being hovered by Limestone as well. I believe there's a bit of a observer glitch going on, folks. You know, at this point, if you've been watching Valorant, you should be well accustomed to observer glitches when the new patch hits. So Jet locked in, Raze locked in. That's all we can say for certain. All right, there we go. We'll back on out. Both breaches, both Razes on for both these teams. I think I saw a Killjoy there.
Yeah, I think I saw
Penn
Killjoy.
State. I like the Killjoy. I think she's gotten a very decent set of buffs, considering that, yeah, you know, 40-meter radius on her abilities now. Honestly, whatever. 40 meters is huge.
40 meters is absolutely massive. I think where Killjoy really shines is in a map like Bind, or maybe even a little bit Ascent, in a little bit. I don't know if I love it here for Split, but we'll see how it works out for them. I mean, it's still a good pick. Killjoy is not necessarily one that I'd say is a must-have, but is definitely a plus for any team picking her. And if she's in the right hands with these buffs, then she could be really dangerous moving forward.
And I do have to correct myself. It was Limestone picking up the Killjoy, so much more standard look here for Penn State. They're going to roll out with that Cypher. First things first. Pretty standard setup of utility and default across the map, it seems, for both these teams. Interesting that you see the Jet up in heaven on A, a more lean towards A. Nobody really covering that mid-site, and a lot of mid-area, I should say. A lot of area being gained pretty much for free by Penn State right now.
Your fault.
Oh,
nice. Great
shot there by Danny Steele. I think sometimes that ramp can be a bit of a farce for the attackers. I think it's people want to go there a lot, but I love trying to fake at the ramp and then see where your team can go. But looks like there's going to be a lot of action in mid. What a great shot by Titan.
And that's why Penn State have just been pretty patient, waiting for Limestone to push into them, interestingly enough, as the sides pseudo flip there. Oh, Wall is on such a powerful lurk right now. As long as Penn State can play this slow over on this post plant, Walla can get so much done from here. Danny Steele winning that in mid too is going to be able to move over to heaven confidently and not have to really worry about someone coming up from behind him. Now it's all just down to the breach. The knife out. Okay, good. Not going to start the game off with that at the very least. But Limestone struggle to make anything happen in their first defense.
Hey, well, that's one of the benefits of that split push on B right there. If you can go mid like that and control mid, I think a lot of people try to play too passively there and throw some smoke and kind of hover around. But if you can really stay aggressive in mid and just have somebody lurk around like that long B side and then have the rest of your team go mid through to the B site, that's the most efficient way to push B. Honestly, it's the most efficient push and it's the most efficient setup in the game.
And you can see already the adjustment coming out from Limestone. They're going to pivot so much more towards the middle of the map. They're sending 3 players there with the Jet. Blake moving over into vents. Is immediately smoked off. Pushing this would be ambitious. Does have 2 players ready to aid. That fault line not going to quite catch Titan either. Worst case scenario here, Titan reloading, dodges all of those right clicks from Blake. This is going so well for Penn State thus far. Now they just have to worry about the ult over on the A site. Does get that one tap onto Walla, but with the armor, more than able to survive it. Penn State starting this off strong.
Titan moving in there the way he did. I mean, we saw the smoke off there at mid, doing exactly what he needed to do to push that in that moment. I mean, the way they're setting up on B side to attack it is absolutely perfect. It's the textbook attack setup for that B site, and Titan being able to get that early pick and then take out those 3 kills early on is just absolutely huge for Penn State, putting Limestone on their heels early. Let's see if they can do that again.
More switch-ups from Limestone. The Killjoy and the Omen stay put, but the middle of the map switches up yet again. Not the 3rd round full buy you would necessarily expect, it seems, as Blake sitting on only the Sheriff, I believe. On one is going to be spotted out here already, up in heaven. That flash is going to keep PSU at bay and allow Blake to push out. Can't quite hit the shots, though, necessary to take out Titan. A little bit too fast on the trigger between those shots, and it decreased the accuracy there.
I do love...
Still hanging around here, but Titan is going to grab him, and now the middle of the map is free game for PSU.
I do love seeing Limestone doing a little bit better of a job of holding those spots right there and forcing Penn State to be a little bit more passive and not be quite as aggressive. But let's see if they can make this move on A right here.
Good crossfire here. What's my boy coming around, covering 4-way abstract. to get that two-piece. And now PSU, although they've rotated over to A, they're in a struggling position. A nice shot there from Boulder. Can't quite make the two-piece happen twice for his team, but still a player lead. And Penn State, they seem locked out of this site right now. They're gonna need to try and push into heaven to gain control here.
30 seconds
It starts
left.
off well as they're able to take down rather. What's up, my boy?
That's a huge kill by Danny Steele right there. They were in a really bad spot on ramp. They needed to be able to rotate out, and the only way they were going to do that is by killing him in heaven right there. Danny Steele getting that huge kill. Oh.
Ooh. Sig the man a little bit too anxious to push out onto ramp and gain control. Now it's all down to Way. Abstract alone looks away at just the wrong time from heaven, and Razik will shut it down. 3-0 to start us off for Penn State.
Limestone did a much better job on their setup that time on defense, but Penn State, you know, one of the big things is if your setup doesn't work and your attack doesn't work, can you rotate and can you change on the fly? They did a great job of changing on the fly and adjusting to Limestone. This is all about adjustments, figuring out what are they doing, where are they setting up, are they going mid more, are they going to push hard one way, but they saw the push, and Penn State did a great job of rotating over and going against Limestone's defense.
And a broken buy now for Limestone as they're going to have to look to make a light buy happen here. Blake once again playing up in vents, but a little bit more passive this time around. Just wants to see if someone will push him since he has that close range weapon of the Stinger. Nice paint shell there, forcing Titan all the way back. All that mid control completely given away, but nobody's here to actually hold this from Limestone. And I mean, even if they were, you can see Boulder trying to dice out there a little bit, but he's up against some real weapons in those Vandals, ready on that cross, and a flash ready to come out from Titan 2 as he pushes into heaven on B. Paranoia does hit Titan. Titan, he's just getting out of dodge yet again. Penn State, they can't decide whether or not they want to actually push up mid.
Yeah, see, and then this is where you get in trouble on split. When you start to pull back a little bit more and you start playing a little bit too passive, you set yourself. What a great kill right there by Rezik. When you start to play a little bit too passive in there, all you're doing is giving the defense a chance to set up in different spots and move around and get where they need to be. And so it caused the attackers to panic a little bit more as Sig the Man spreads, fire a little bit, trying to scare anybody in the area. But I think Limestone doing a much better job of scaring Penn State here.
That's a big
30 seconds left.
Razik back there. That'll grant a gun over to Limestone. And with Sig the Man actually taking the spike carrier out there on site, this suddenly gets very dicey for Penn State. Oh boy, gotta be careful, pushing right in, but will get that frag. Does have to be careful, all alone in a 1v2, only 20 health. This has been a pretty good round, all things considered, for Limestone, but a clutch is more so out of the realm of possibility, especially as What's Up My Boy gets flashed.
There's Titan. That might be my favorite name of the night right now is What's Up My Boy, because every time I think you're telling me What's Up My Boy, but I know who you're talking about. But it doesn't matter right there because a Titan gets the flash right there. That's why Breach is so important, especially in those late round situations. If it's a 1v2 or a 2v2, those flashes can come in clutch right there, as shown by Titan getting the flash and getting the kill right there at the end of the round.
Titan has honestly just been having a baller game. He's creating so much space for his team in these mid pushes and staying alive to do it, right? That's something that a lot of players that create space struggle with here.
Off your feet! Danny Steele ulting right here. Let's see if we can get some
going
picks
out,
with it.
yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, that was a little dicey.
That
if that
was.
Rolling Thunder hadn't been up to cover Danny, he would not be alive to tell the tale. The turret making it a little bit difficult for him to run onto Sig the Man here. Oh, only had one knife, but Classic will get the job done all the same. Doesn't have a weapon for the rest of this round, but Penn State still feeling pretty good. They'll get that spike down, and they've still got the player advantage.
Yeah, pushing them off of the B site right there. I mean, worst case scenario, even if he misses that last knife and he gets killed right there and loses everything, at least he made enough space on B site for his team to move in and plant the spike. And right now, they're ahead by so much. Even just getting the spike planted right there, if you lose the round, they're in a really good spot.
Limestone not quite done with this round yet, though. They need to swing this one back if they want to retake control of this game. Gonna tap the spike, doesn't clear back Sight, though, and now it's all down to Blake. He can't possibly contend with the crossfire from PSU. Dicey for the Nittany Lions, but they'll still get it done and maintain their flawless split thus far.
As much as Tightness has done, Rezik has come in late in these rounds and being able to get the right picks at the right time. As you're seeing that Penn State now all going Vandals right here. I'm kind of interested to see what Wonder does here. Is he going to go for the op right now? No, he goes full. It's going to be full Vandal. So we have a full gun round for them. It looks like a half buy for Limestone. Limestone's economy is not doing too great right now, and Penn State really, I mean, being up 5 rounds to 0, they can really do whatever they want.
And even if Limestone pull a thrifty out of their hat right here, Penn State are going to be feeling just fine. 5 ults available for Limestone. Make it 4 as the Raze does hit the floor there. And they keep changing up where they hold their defenders. I do like this, but it doesn't seem like they actually have confident strategies for any of these. The A site goes over for 3 here, and I mean, it's just murder across the map right now.
Yeah, I'm glad.
One lone player, way abstract, all alone on the A site. This is pretty entertaining, but ultimately, Danny Steele gonna hit that right click to shut it down.
I'm glad you brought up that the way they're setting up their defense, because I mean, yes, you want to mix up your defense and you want to change it up based off of what the attackers are doing, right? And when they're on offense, you want to rotate and change what you're doing to stop them. But this doesn't look like that. This looks more like panic switching. This looks more like panic defense, where they don't know where Penn State's coming from, and so they're just setting up randomly on the fly in different spots. And I don't feel like it's working out for them right now. They need to have more people in mid to be ready to watch mid, and it doesn't look like they're moving too many people over into mid, not enough people over into B. So it doesn't look like they have a coordinated effort on defense right now.
And yet again, that operator gets sent into vent and immediately is just smoked out, forcing a rotation from Limestone, right? They're not able to use that to gain control of the middle of the map, and PSU just walk up towards vents pretty much for free. This is going to be a pretty dicey contest. Blake. Oh, they just barely spot each other there. Oh, the right click spraying the dream there, and the spray through the smoke doesn't quite hit the mark. Still pretty good for PSU, but they don't expect the flank from Walla. And now with the neural theft, Penn State can open up this map. They see that the rotates are heading over toward A, and they're just going to take the spike onto B.
I mean, what this comes down to with Limestone is they're just not getting enough information. And I think with some of the picks that they had, there's just no way for them to get information. You know, having the Cypher on Penn State is a huge deal, because he can just sit there. Well, maybe not a huge deal right there, as he gets opt in the face at close range, but them just being able to have that kind of information with Omen and with Cypher, they need to be able to see what they're doing. And Limestone on defense right now is Rezik. Oh my God, Rezik just going off with the Vandal. My goodness.
That was kind of filthy there. But I mean, ultimately, Rezik is enabled there by the Cypher, like you were saying, right? Waller got so much information for the team, even though it was really just the 1 kill, and that's what I like to see from Penn State right now, right? They spot that 1 jet in vent, and they recognize, hey, that's probably the Heaven player. Hey, that's somebody we can pinch onto. So Walla goes up. Even if Blake hadn't retreated, he would either have to win the 1v1 against Walla or the 1v1 against Danny Steele, and then presumably get picked up. So it's a low-risk, high-reward play there, and it works out so well for Penn State.
I feel like it's those big brain moves, right? Like sometimes, you know, Walla right there going down. He goes down, that's bad, but he got enough information for his team that you can have that 1v3 twist like that. So it's all about.
What is happening in this round?
Oh wow, Limestone.
The Omen has just crept into sewer. Now Danny Steele is all alone on A. I mean, whoa! Doesn't quite hit that.
Oh, no.
He knows where the breach is. He's gonna get flashed though.
Yeah.
This is suddenly dicey, Danny. Not quite gonna be able to make it happen. I feel like Penn State have got caught off by how absurd the strategy was from Limestone in this round. Yeah, they're gonna get the spike down, but it's a 2v4 in favor of Limestone right now. They should know where a couple of these players are coming from, but no, oh, nice paranoia actually. Well timed there by Wonder and everything. He's gonna get 2 before the Rolling Thunder hits him, but couldn't possibly get the next 2. A 4K, just too much to ask for Wonder. And Limestone finally gonna get off the board, or on the board.
You know, the difficulty with something like that is, you know, whenever you're playing a game yourself, you think to yourself, that would never happen a million times out of a million. And so Limestone did catch Penn State off guard right there, but that's not really a strategy that you can have that you can have consistently moving forward. And so Limestone's going to have to figure out, maybe they could try it again, but they're going to have to figure out some way to find some consistency in this game right now.
Well, at the very least, if you're Penn State, right, you think twice about mid next time.
That's absolutely
with how aggressively
true.
Limestone pushed it, right? Because it's been free game pretty much this whole map thus far for PSU, and now look at them. They're playing so much further back in that market area instead of just free walking up and scaling so far into mid. Now, I mean, Wonder's going to get pretty aggressive here, so he builds up the spike, actually. If he hadn't hit that shot, that could have gotten dicey. Is he just going to take it over to A? No, instead he goes deep onto B because the Raze has already crept in here, and now Sigma Man is actually stuck in this situation. A Paranoia is going to hide from it for a second. They should know vaguely where he is, and although he's able to hit this first shot, okay, I was going to say this might get dicey, but suddenly this is very winnable. Way Abstract is here to support, and Limestone have easily reclaimed this site. There's nothing Wallow could do at all.
I don't love that play by Walla. Walla should have backed off and tried to save a little bit there. I mean, it was a 4v1. There's nothing he's going to be able to do in that situation. And save for your team, move on to the next round. You're up by 5 rounds at this point. I don't love that play by him, but great job by Limestone being able to turn that around. I mean, it looked like Wonder was making big plays there and move forward, but Limestone came back and made him pay for it.
And now Limestone's economy has recovered enough to the point where they can more or less comfortably buy up for the rest of this half, right? So Limestone, even if they lose this round, the next one, whatever, they're going to have guns to work with. They can look to make a 7-0 into a 7-5 happen. Still a long way to go. But Penn State definitely feeling more of the pressure now. Danny, he's thinking about pushing up through this smoke dry. Is going to go for it as the fault line would have caught him, but Boulder ready to punish. PSU losing a member early, and Wall is just going to give this control? No, he actually stays here to see if anyone from Limestone gets antsy.
Yeah, this is a tough spot for Penn State to be in right now. I feel like we should pull back and play a little bit more passive as Walla goes down right there to Boulder. I mean, that's a tough spot for him to be in. He had no support over there. I feel like he just needed to back off and regroup.
And that's the second frag in a row over towards A, where it was the breach's position was compromised. Somebody pushed out, and Boulder Stoney just locked it down. 2v4, not looking great for Penn State, as they did lose one in market earlier as well.
You know, I mean, if you're gonna go A, I feel like the better strategy would have been they keep peeking A, and it's dangerous to peek ramp. I feel like it's better to smoke off ramp, smoke heaven, and then just go straight down main and see what you can do. Move as a team, move together. Don't get tempted by going anywhere near the ramp, and that's where Penn State's running into some trouble. It's getting close now here though.
Yeah, Titan able to catch Way Abstract in the back of the site. Perfect timing on that flash. You have no information as to really where Limestone is coming from, though. So this is a very split position here from Penn State right now. You have to expect that once the breach's position is known, they're going to try and collapse onto him, and Razik will be able to punish from heaven. But that fault line going out so early, this suddenly gets very dicey. Titan is able to wrap around here, though. Nobody checking main site, and suddenly they have no idea where he's coming from.
Great play by Titan.
Still got flashes to work with, too. Blake is able to get inside of one, but Titan will still shut it down. 4 in the round, and what a turnaround for the Nittany Lions.
I was afraid there for a second that Rezik was going to be too late on the rotation, and we were just going to see Titanos just go down. And Rezik wouldn't be able to really do a whole lot, not be in position in time to punish them, like you said, from heaven. But Titanos there with a great move to wrap around them and flank behind. I can't believe at least one of them wasn't watching their backs just in case, just to be safe.
Limestone, this is their defense on Split too, right, Josh? I mean, you hope to walk away with more than 2 rounds, especially in close rounds like that. What's up, my boy? He has pushed past the typical smoke. Won't quite hit that shot, though, and sitting on Raze instead of Jet. You're not able to get out of dodge nearly as easily. Mid control goes over to Penn State yet again. Still some utility up in heaven, making it difficult for Penn State, but with Razik on the perfect angle, he'll shut that down and the site. Easy take on a B for Penn State.
Yeah, I mean, there's really just nothing Limestone can do about this right here. I feel like maybe play passive, play back a little bit.
Bro, both those players feeling some pain in their toes. They're going to be working with one less big toe. Even Faultline Boulder is going to shut down one, but he's going to get hunted right now. And it would have taken a miracle for him to keep his gun.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough when you're in that situation. You get into a 5-on-1 like that. You're going to get hunted at that point because they're not going to let you save, especially at this level. So Penn State going up 9-2 with Limestone on defense. I mean, that's not ideal. At the very least, you'd love to split defense when you're on there, but being down 7 rounds like this
defense.
Yeah, split defense. Yeah. But, you know, this isn't an ideal spot for Limestone, you know, going on the attack. I feel like Penn State has a major advantage in this game.
Limestone, it's last round, and they don't have a full buy. They are going to get a little bit dicey with it. You can see players stacked over by A ramp, players stacked up in mid, ready to push. There goes, what's up, my boy? Flying on in and landing on their heads. Nobody wants to get landed on by a Limestone like that. What's Up My Boy is able to make it happen. There is one roam that just actually completely went past What's Up My Boy, so it seems like Danny Steele in a pretty strong spot back towards the defender's spawn. It is a 2v3, and ultimate's available for Limestone. Stick the man, I mean, there's no possible way he thinks Danny Steele is there, though, and once he's down, you can come onto the B site.
That was a great flank by Danny Steele.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, wow.
Planted.
Blake just standing still right there.
I don't know how. I mean, you can't get caught standing still in mid like that. You have to make a decision. You have to go one way or another. But if you just stand there, you're almost always going to get picked off. I mean, Limestone came out with a "hey, we've got nothing to lose" type of mentality, and it paid off for them in the beginning. But then they did a little bit too passive. What a great shot by What's Up My Boy right there on Danny Steele. So now we got a 1v1 with a spike down.
Paranoia actually isn't something that you can take advantage of. It'll give away your position, and What's Up My Boy? What's up in this round? Ends up getting that 3K and the last round for Limestone. Still a pretty heavy decimate for Limestone, especially considering it was their split defense. But
switching sides.
Clutches like that bring back the morale.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a tough spot to be in if you're a Limestone. You know, we're going now into 2 as they're the attackers. That, like we talked about earlier, split is such a defender favored map, and it's so easy to hold down A. It's a little bit more difficult to hold down B, but if Penn State puts defenders in the right spots and holds down mid the right way, and doesn't let Limestone overload them, if Limestone even tries to go through mid like that. And it doesn't look like they are. It looks like they're going to make a hard push on A right here. All of Limestone waiting to go. Like I said, you know what I want to see is I'd like to see a smoke on ramp, and I'd like to see a smoke on heaven, and them just go straight down main and push it as hard as they can while there's only 2 defenders there.
Shadows traveling.
Limestone, it seems like they're going to go for that A push. No smoke on ramp, though. No availability to hide from Wonder. He'll trade at least 1 for 1. Danny Steele, seems like he took a nasty end of a trade, though, and is going to have to get out of dodge immediately. Paint Shell is going to go right where the spike is being planted. Gets the kill onto Abstract. Nice work there from Razik on the prediction on that. So Penn State, they're going to come into this with a player advantage, and although Boulder's able to get the first, his position is given away. And once he's gone, the post plant becomes very dicey here. Sig is going to get spotted. Waller with the prediction. And a good first round here on the defense from Penn State.
I mean, if you're going to take a silver lining out of that in any way, the silver lining is at least they got the spike down, so they get a little bit more. It saves their economy a little bit more than it would have, but it's still going to be tough. I mean, you're down 10-3, and you're the attackers now. You can't even win the gun round like that, and so it's going to be interesting to see how the Limestone strategy moving forward, to see how they try to come back from this.
Limestone, they'd need a pretty baller attack right now to swing split back in their favor, and you can really see why Penn State were willing to give up split as that first map. We're willing to give up the defense coming into this because, I mean, their attack was so strong and their defense already starting off well.
I thought it might
pretty heavy.
It looked like they were going to lurk on B, long B right there, but they decided to go everybody down mid. But you know what? Penn State doesn't have enough people defending mid right now. And they're going towards A site. I thought they'd go to B site. They're going towards A site through mid. Not something that I see a whole often. Now you see the rotation as Penn State hears them. That's a really tough strategy to try to deal with. Trying to go A site from mid.
Boulder Stoney there with the spike actually gets killed in heaven. I mean, this is the round basically over. Last player in A heaven, never gonna go well. And Limestone, I like that rotation, but gosh, I just feel like it was so loud and they didn't go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they started stomping around, it's like me whenever I try to play, start stomping around, and the defenders can hear that. It's so easy to make that rotation. It's a short rotation over to A, the way Penn State had it set up. And honestly, the way they were set up, they didn't have as much defense on mid as I would have liked to see. If they had a B lurker on long B the way they should set up and have the rest of the team go mid and take that, I think it would have put Penn State a little bit more on their heels trying to figure out where the attack was coming from. But then they decided to go from mid to the A site, and I don't think there was a definitive plan by Limestone there.
Right now, it seems like they're just playing a little bit of a slow default. One lurking breach over toward A. Interesting assignments here for Limestone, as breach is normally more of that supportive flash. And Limestone are going to lose way abstract pretty early. They're not going to have those, and they're not going to check their corner as the other breach having much more luck, flashing out, even spots to play.
Oh, bad day. Oh, Titanos trying to go in
Whiffs
there.
a bit there. The nerves getting the better end of Titan as he spotted more than a few players, but ultimately not bad from him. I mean, ultimately it's a 3-for-1 in favor of Penn State.
Yeah, it's a great move by him. It was, I mean, you pointed it out, it was really odd to see Limestone's breach off there lurking by himself. You know, if you're going to have that, most of the team push mid, you want to have those flashes going in there. You've already got everything smoked off. As you go farther into B site, you want to have those flashes ready to go so you can try to deal with any defenders that are there. So it was really odd to have him lurking by himself over there.
Now, I mean, it just seems like it's going to be a save from the
left.
last member of Limestone. Sig, I believe, was able to hear the one player who was lurking around. Yeah, you can hear the Omen footsteps as they're considering where Sig might be hiding. Should be prepared. I think a little bit high on that crosshair placement, though, and when Wonder comes around the corner, he's able to shut Sig down.
What is the number one thing when we play games like this, Paul? It's hold your angles. Hold your angles. That's always the rule. And if you're not holding your angles in the right spot, you're going to get caught in that. I mean, he had the jump on him right there, and you know, you need to be able to sit there, hold your angle, and save in that spot for your team. Limestone in a really, really tough spot right here. Penn State they came out strong. They've come out aggressive from the very beginning. I mean, we saw just when it came down to map pick and letting Limestone take defense, we saw the aggression in Penn State because they knew what they were doing, and it's worked out in their favor very, very well so far.
That's what I love to see from a team that not only leaves split open, but picks it first map, right? You're not picking it just to throw them off. You're picking it because you are confident that despite giving the defense over to Limestone on split, you can make it happen. Now they just need one more round to take away the first map in this best of 3 and start this must-win series off right. Boombot there is going to cover Razik, so even though he gets flashed, he's able to get away while on a close angle here. Does spot one. Will he expect the second? Cyber Cage should give him enough cover so that that swing from Sig actually can't really make anything happen over on that B site. And meanwhile, 3 players are locking down B heaven. Limestone just have to reconsider where they want to actually push.
I like this push by Limestone this time. The split push was definitely more well executed. Getting breach in the mid right there as Boulder Stoney goes down, but getting breach in the mid right there, trying to flash. Razik got very, very lucky that they threw Boombot out as they got flashed, but now showing that breach over there on the right side. Let's see if this works out for them.
Oof.
Oof.
30 seconds left.
Yep.
Nope.
Jump shot down. Frenzy to close it out. Annie steal. Sends us out of split. What a dominant map there from Penn State. You absolutely love to see the Nittany Lions come out and roar so confidently.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about, the aggression pays off in this game, especially when you're the attacker. And we haven't seen that a lot so far in this tournament. We've seen a lot of passive offense, and Penn State from the very beginning, they were aggressive in their pushes, split pushing, you know, predominantly going towards B site, making sure that they were split pushing with 1 or 2 going long B, and then having the rest of them go mid and then push towards heaven right there. They were coordinating really well. They were using their flashes at the right time. They were smoking off the right spots. And so whenever you have those coordinated attacks like that in the right areas, and then you have a team like Limestone that didn't really seem like they knew what they wanted to do on defense, it's almost always going to go in your favor. So if you can get the defense on their heels, you get them to start switching up when they don't necessarily want to switch up. you have all of it's all the cards are in your favor, right? And so Penn State from the very beginning, picking split, letting Limestone take defense, being aggressive from the very beginning. Limestone just couldn't recover there. So it's going to take a lot. You know, a map like that does a lot for a team's confidence. Being able to win so solidly in a map like that does a lot for a team's confidence. But let's see if Limestone can make some adjustments, get into a map that they feel more confident in, that they feel better in, and see if they can come back in game 2.
Yeah, we are going to be heading on to their map pick of Ascent after a quick break, folks. Don't go anywhere. There's still plenty more Valorant to be played.